So a lot of my friends have been asking me lately if I'm actually voting for Donald Trump or if I support Donald Trump. The reason they ask me that is because they see on Facebook me constantly talking shit about Hillary Clinton and saying that Trump would marginally be a better president than Clinton, and that Clinton would be a worse disaster to this country. Now the reason I believe that is because it's true, not because I think Trump's a good president. Hillary Clinton is just worse. But I see why people think that, because before this election cycle, I did sort of identify almost as a Democrat. I've never really fallen completely in line with the Democratic Party, but until this point, I at least kind of thought that they were better than the Republicans and that they kind of cared about the middle class. But that's clearly no longer the case, as we saw with how they are treating Donald Trump. They're being very dishonest in how they're handling Donald Trump. They aren't actually attacking any of his policies or how he would govern, completely talking about his character. And I agree, he's a jackass, but that doesn't really have anything to do with his presidency. He's just a fucking rich jock. So I've decided to make this video explaining why I still think Trump would also be a bad president. I'm not voting for Trump. I will be voting for Jill Stein on November 8th. And I did so in the form of an open letter to Donald Trump, which I have written here, which I will now read to you guys. Take into consideration, I didn't actually watch the third debate yet, so some things in here might be a little inaccurate, but I doubt it. If anything I say here was contradicted by what goes on in the third debate, let me know. Starts off, "Hi. I've noticed that most of your opponents have taken to a very dishonest campaign against you. Most of their attacks on you have absolutely nothing to do with policy and everything to do with character, which I think is one of the most deep issues regarding our political system. Regardless, I would like to take an honest look at your campaign so that way my friends here on the left know the real reasons why you are an inferior candidate to the third-party candidates such as Jill Stein or Gary Johnson, but why you are still superior to the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton. I'll start with the most politically horrifying thing, the fact that you want to elect Supreme Court justices in the mold of Antonin Scalia. Now, I don't know very many judges personally, but probably not Antonin Scalia, someone I would base my decisions off of. Even for Republicans, I don't understand why they like this guy. He clearly does not give a fuck about the Constitution and just wants to promote a deeply conservative religious agenda. But I thought the job of a Supreme Court justice was to uphold the Constitution regardless of their personal feelings. It sounds to me like the kind of justice that Trump and admittedly other Republicans want to elect is someone who wants to disregard the Constitution and instead put their personal feelings first. Moving on, I suppose one of the reasons you would favor a judge like Scalia, Trump, is that you have, you are anti-abortion in all instances. You have said in an interview that you want there to be punishment for the girl who gets an abortion and that you are against abortion. And that's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion, but obviously, I mean, this argument's been hammered out time and time again. I don't need to explain to you why abortion should be legal. Just know that while you are entitled to your opinion, Donald Trump, everyone else is not entitled to your opinion. They are also entitled to their own opinion. So I mentioned that your views on Supreme Court justices is the most politically horrifying thing. However, it is not the most horrifying thing. Why do you still think climate change is a hoax? Pretty obvious at this point that it was not devised by China for economic reasons. One, companies like Exxon and other huge petroleum corporations have a lot of money, and if they needed to keep this under wraps, if it wasn't true, they would have the finances to do so. So it's not like they're incapable of taking care of any kind of conspiracy that's going on. The reason why we know about climate change and why we're doing things against climate change is because scientists of all kinds, geologists, climatologists, etc., all agree with climate change and that it's a serious problem. I really don't have anything else to say other than you're pretty much an idiot if you don't accept climate change at this point. Sorry. Also, you seem to have changed your mind on healthcare. Towards the start of the election cycle, you were very much in favor of universal healthcare, but it seems like now you think single payer would be a disaster. Now, the reason you cited for this is that people from Canada, where they had universal healthcare, come to America for some healthcare because it's bad over there. TJ, Amazing Atheist, just did a video where he said that that's actually not true. Unfortunately, only 1% of Canadians leave the country for their healthcare, and the reason for that isn't because the healthcare is bad in Canada, it's just because the foremost expert on whatever condition they have happens to be in another country. I personally never heard anything bad about the Canadian healthcare system. They certainly have lower drug prices than we do, and I'm sure their quality of doctors is at least on par with ours. I mean, come on, they're right next to us, and we tour back and forth all the time. It's not like a huge difference. There's a laundry list of things I disagree with you on. The Syrian refugee thing, immigration, etc. Those aren't like not big deals, but they're also like not a big enough deal that I feel like they warrant talking about in this video. But for my friends on the left who are supporting Hillary Clinton, I do want to mention a few things real quick that make him objectively better than Clinton. His tax plan, while kind of a joke, it does reduce the corporate tax rate to 15%, which is a joke. That would still generate more tax revenue with him closing tax loopholes, and corporations know this. That's why big corporations like Wall Street, banks, and the petroleum industry and billionaires are investing in Clinton's campaign, because they know that Clinton will do more for them than Trump would. Flat out. Closing the loopholes but lowering the nominal rates will increase the effective overall tax rate on huge corporations. Recently, he also presented a decent plan regarding education. He did propose a plan to help students manage their student loan payments. The payment can be no more than 12.5% of your income, and after, I think he said 15 years, if you've been making your payments on time, the rest of the debt is absolved. To me, that's a very good step in the right direction towards just public free tuition for all, which is obviously better in what Bernie proposed, but what Trump has proposed here is certainly a very good step in the right direction. But yeah, NAFTA and TPP and other trade deals, he is completely against those, and we obviously agree, progressives and Trump agree, that we got boned on all those trade deals. We lost jobs, millions of jobs, good paying jobs as well. We need to bring manufacturing back here. We need to bring the service industry and everything back here. We need more domestic jobs. That is what Trump is offering. That's not what Hillary Clinton is offering one bit. Also, let's not forget that he literally did not cheat. He did not steal the nomination from the Republican Party like Hillary did. Yeah, he didn't do that. Hillary did. She's a liar and a cheater and a thief, which are the worst things a politician can be. So I don't know how anyone could possibly support her. So in closing, obviously I would much rather have Bernie Sanders, but he's not an option anymore. I'm voting for Jill Stein, not because I think she's going to win this time, but if she gets the 5% necessary to get major party status, she might win in 2020, or at least someone from the Green Party might. And then hopefully we can see some real change, This election has been very scary, but I think we can make it through the next 4 years, and hopefully from there progress into what America deserves, which is a very progressive, populist, economic, and political system. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.